Record, that song Lazarus, released on his birthday. Obviously he knew the state of his health. It seemed like he was giving that to the art world as well.
That's absolutely right. This is a unique moment as many musicians get older and face mortality. We've seen a lot of records thinking about getting older and mortality abstractly, but in this case specifically, someone who knew the end was coming, who had for the last 18 months lived with that knowledge and decided to face it down with his art, with a record that is challenging, that's been warmly received as a David Bowie record, a classic David Bowie record. That is a fitting testament to an artist of this nature.
Well, he will be missed. Joe Levy, thank you so much for sharing your perspective this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
To your last point, Bowie's longtime producer put out a statement last night saying this album, in fact, was his farewell to the world.
Swan song.
Yeah, we'll have much more on the life of David Bowie coming up a bit later. Now to the reason we're here in Los Angeles.
This is breaking news from News 4 New York.
Good morning. It's 7:26 on this Monday morning. Fans remembering David Bowie. The music legend died after a private 18-month battle with cancer. News 4's Tracy Strahan has more from the East Village, where one of Bowie's final projects is now playing. Tracy.
Well, Darlene, Lazarus wasn't just the name of the musical here at the New York Theater Workshop that David Bowie wrote the original songs for. It was also the name of the song on what would be his final album. A spokesman for the singer says he died surrounded by his family on Sunday. He was 69 years old. His last album, Black Star, was just released on Friday, which was his birthday. Of course, known for so many hits like Fame, Changes, like you heard there, and of course, Space Oddity. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Tracy. Let's take a look at the morning commute. Here's Lauren.
Welcome back to a special edition of Today in Los Angeles this morning, and we've got more on the surprising news overnight. A lot of people waking up to the death of music icon David Bowie. Tamron's got some reaction. Hey, Tamron.
Good morning, guys. Celebrities and fans alike taking to Twitter to share their condolences. Last night's Golden Globes host Ricky Gervais tweeted out, "I just lost a hero. Rest in peace, David Bowie." Matt sharing this photo and writing, "A rock legend is gone. Thanks for the music and the laughs." Kanye West writing, "David Bowie was one of my most important inspirations. So fearless, so creative. He gave us magic for a lifetime." Pharrell tweeting out, "David Bowie was a true innovator, a true creative. May he rest in peace." UK Prime Minister David Cameron wrote this, "I grew up listening to and watching the pop genius David Bowie. He was a master of reinvention who kept getting it right. A huge loss." And guys, this mesmerizing GIF is quickly going viral, showing artist Helen Green's drawings of the many faces of David Bowie throughout his incredible career. And I also went on to his wife Iman's Twitter page just to see what she'd placed out there. 22 hours ago, she sent out the message, "The struggle is real, but so is God." And on the 8th of this month, she had a happy birthday to David Bowie.
Thoughts with Iman and their two children, his two children as well. Thanks, Tamron.
We're back after your local news. Thank you. As we mentioned, we've been talking this morning about the passing of David Bowie. For decades, he was a towering figure in the music world. But as he got older, his life took more of a private turn, and Tamron's been following that part of the story. Good morning.
Good morning again, guys. Everyone loves a good love story, and the one between Bowie and his supermodel wife, Iman, well, it is one for the ages.
Ziggy Stardust, the Thin White Duke.
Halloween Jack.
David Bowie was a glam rock icon who took on many different colorful identities throughout his career. But in the last few years, some of his most notable personas included private family man and devoted husband. When Bowie first met his wife, international supermodel Iman, on a blind date in 1990, it was love at first sight for him. 2 years after their first date, the pair married, and for more than 20 years, the power couple enjoyed separate yet successful careers. All the while, they managed to keep their family life as private as possible. The couple's blended family included Iman's daughter from her first marriage and Duncan Jones, Bowie's son, from his first marriage. They also had a daughter together, Alexandria, born in 2000, but she's rarely, if ever, photographed in public. Iman said the separation of public and private was the secret to the couple's long-lasting relationship.
Understanding the difference between the personal and the public. We never have photographs or taken in our apartment. We don't do fashion shoots together. You know, it's like you do things that are separately because he's a musician and I do my own business.
Right.
But home is private.
In the home, Iman joked with Kathy Lee and Hoda that she was the one in charge.
Do you fight with David when you want to do a room? You want to check this guy because he is such an artist himself.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has some input into it.
Not really.
Good. That's the way you like
Home
it.
is usually where women really do.
Yeah. So he never says I don't like that.
No, he does.
And for his part, Bowie would sometimes scoff at the idea that he would be a normal family man.
I mean, you're a typical hardworking 56-year-old now. When you look at some of the images of your past personas, the Ziggy Stardust...
I'm not a typical 56-year-old.
Well, wait a second.
David Bowie is not a typical 56-year-old.
But for the rock star known for writing songs about being a lonely outsider, he managed to find a true partner and fill his life with love.
So there's been no comment from Iman yet on David Bowie's passing, but on Sunday she tweeted the words "Rise" and the quote, "The struggle is real, but so is God." And it's just to think about, obviously, the person that we all love from music and videos, but to know he's a father, and today this little child has to look at the world in a different light, a sad one.
This news was a shock to the world, but for Iman and their family, they were going through this for the last 18 months, we've now learned.
Silently, privately.
Yeah. Thanks, Tamara.
Coming up.
9 years old. You know, 69 is so young these days. But now we're learning that he had been battling cancer for more than a year. And, you know, sadly, he just released his new album on his 69th birthday this past Friday.
Very interesting guy, very talented, real cultural force. He is survived by his wife and a couple of children.
2 children, yeah.
Iman, he was married to that supermodel.
By the way, this is his last music video where he's in a hospital bed and maybe he kind of was foreshadowing what was going to happen here.
Came out just last month. All right, you heard about that gang rape in Brooks and Nez. David Bowie, rock and roll legend, dead at the age of 69.
Yeah, it was announced early this morning. He lost an 18-month battle with cancer. Many of us grew up listening to David Bowie. We were kind of intrigued by his creativity, his breaking of the mold, and his music. It was also different. It was never the same,
And
you know?
so was he, a real pioneer and an actor too. Let's go to Teresa Priolo. She has more from outside. Let's see, he lived in Soho, but it's reported that he died in London. Good morning, Teresa.
Good morning, Greg and Rosanna. Good morning, everyone. As a matter of fact, outside of his Soho apartment, there happens to be just a small memorial, a candle, and 2 bouquets of flowers, and a simple note here left by someone who was a fan of David Bowie. This was a man with a voice, a look, a talent that inspired generations, and he leaves behind a legacy that even death cannot diminish. It was a career that spanned 5 decades and numerous #1 hits. But this morning, fans are mourning the loss of one of rock and roll's biggest stars, the international rock icon David Bowie, losing an 18-month battle with cancer. His death announced on Facebook with this simple message. David Bowie died peacefully today, surrounded by his family after a courageous 18-month battle with cancer. While many of you will share in this loss, we ask that you respect the family's privacy during their time of grief. Born David Jones in London on January 8, 1947, David Bowie rose to international stardom in the early 70s with hits like Space Oddity, Let's Dance, and Heroes. His music is much a part of his success as his androgynous look and ever-changing mercurial nature. When he wasn't singing, he was acting, appearing in clips like The Man Who Fell to Earth and the 1986 movie Labyrinth. In recent years, Bowie kept a low profile here in New York City, emerging only to open his off-Broadway play in December, the rock musical Lazarus. And last Friday, on his 69th birthday and just days before his death,
look up here. I'm in heaven.
Bowie released his 26th and final album called Black Star. He is survived by his wife of more than 20 years, supermodel Iman, his son Duncan, and daughter Alexandria. Teresa Priolo, Good Day New York. Yes, and so much reaction on social media. This one from his son Duncan, tweeting out, "Very sorry and sad to say it's true. I will be offline for a while. Love to all." Pharrell Williams tweeted out, "David Bowie was a true innovator, a true creative. May he rest in peace." And Kanye West tweeting, "David Bowie was one of my most important inspirations. So fearless, so creative. He gave us magic for a lifetime." And that is the latest outside of David Bowie's apartment in Soho this morning. Greg and Rosanna will send things back to both of you.
Teresa, thank you. We'll stay on this for a moment. You played that video that came out just last month off of his album Blackstone. This is Lazarus. Modern Love and Let's Dance. That was an album that pretty much everybody, if you were old enough, bought back in the 1980s.
And how about Ground Control to Major Tom?
Oh, man. Haunted.
That, everybody knew the words to that song, and that was a really in-depth song, right?
All right, well, surprising news this morning.
Rest in peace. This morning...
David Bowie's Soho apartment continues to grow tonight. News of the rock icon's passing started spreading early this morning. There's been a constant stream of fans passing by the apartment to leave flowers and messages all day. Again, this is a live look right now. Fox 5 Simone Boyce takes a look back at the life of David Bowie and his musical legacy.
We can be heroes ever and ever.
Singer-songwriter David Bowie passed away at the age of 69 on Sunday after secretly battling cancer for 18 months. He leaves behind an inimitable legacy in music, fashion, and film, spanning 4 decades and over 130 million records sold.
I think that he's going to be an icon that is truly missed.
A lot of memories of David Bowie growing up as a kid.
We're going to miss him greatly.
Born David Jones in 1947 London, Bowie first tasted success in the early 60s as Space Oddity hit the UK pop charts in 1969.
This is Major Tom to Ground Control.
But his breakthrough came in 1972 with the album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, when he introduced one of his many flamboyant alter egos, the androgynous alien rock god Ziggy Stardust. 3 years later, Bowie found commercial stardom in America with the #1 single Fame from the album Young Americans. Other notable hits include Let's Dance, Rebel Rebel, Changes, and Suffragette City, to name a few. Bowie's impact on rock music was only matched by his radical impact on the fashion world. Bowie consistently pushed the boundaries of gender with his sexuality and style. In 1986, Bowie took his love of characters to the big screen, playing the Goblin King in the fantasy film The Labyrinth. He went on to star in several films, including Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. He leaves behind his wife, fashion model Iman, and 2 children. A day before his passing, Bowie's wife Iman tweeted this quote, "The struggle is real, but so is God." David Bowie's son with his previous wife Angela, Duncan Jones, posted a photo of his father on Twitter with the words, "Very sorry and sad to say it's true. I'll be offline for a while. Love to all."
David Bowie is already sorely missed in the music world. Artists are sending in their tributes via Twitter. Paul McCartney posting an old photo with the words, "David was a great star, and I treasure the moments we had together." Madonna shared, "I'm devastated." And Kanye West writes, "David Bowie was one of my most important inspirations. He gave us magic for a lifetime." I think you'd be hard-pressed to find an artist who wasn't influenced by the work of the great David Bowie. From Soho, I'm Simone Boyce for Fox 5 News.
Such a great point. The most famous, popular musicians in the world were all huge fans of his, rightly so. Incredible stuff. All right, well, could Sean Penn's secret meeting?
He was always innovative, always creative. And tonight, the world seems a bit less creative. The great songwriter and performer David Bowie died 2 days after his 69th birthday and after a quiet battle with cancer. Fans in South London paying homage by a mural of Bowie near his birthplace. On the Hollywood Walk of Fame, his star was covered in candles. And tonight, outside an off-Broadway theater, fans remembering Bowie at his play, Lazarus, the singer who warned rockers to face the changes because soon you're going to get older, died way too young. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Torres outside Bowie's apartment in Soho. Joe.
Bill, if you need a visual of the kind of impact that David Bowie had on a legion of fans, just take a look across the street here. It is a cold Monday night in January. Nonetheless, there is a crowd of people gathered around a growing memorial outside of Bowie's Soho apartment, a tribute to a man who entertained millions for more than 40 years. Along with his gifted talent as a rock and roll artist, David Bowie was a master marketer, a chameleon who not only changed with the times, but seemingly prompted the times to change.
It's a sad day for music. I mean, he was a visionary. There's nothing in popular culture he didn't touch. Fashion wouldn't be what it is. Music wouldn't be what it is.
He helped shape my life and the lives of so many people I know. He was an intergalactic rock god.
Tonight, a crowd of fans gathered outside Bowie's Lafayette Street apartment in Soho. Not far away, Bowie's legacy lives on at the New York Theater Workshop, where his musical Lazarus opened late last year, but closes next week.
The man just had a wonderful, warm energy, and I'm sorry that he's left us.
Bowie's battle with cancer ended just 3 days after his 69th birthday. His 2 children and his wife of more than 20 years, model Iman, by his side.
Even though I wasn't born when a lot of his music came out, I always just found it was something I could engulf myself in.
You know, at the age of 69, David Bowie easily could have put his feet up years ago and rested on his laurels. He didn't do that. In fact, just last week, on his birthday, he released his final album, the latest contribution to a lasting legacy. Live in Soho, I'm Joe Torres, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Joe, thank you. As we can.
Well, fans are remembering David Bowie with his music. The music legend's death seems to have sparked a surge in album sales. The Best of David Bowie dethroned Adele from top of the iTunes charts, and 6 of his albums are songs in the top 10. Bowie died Sunday after a battle with cancer. He was 69.